In 2015, a limestone cave in the Rhône Valley revealed the most complete Neanderthal remains discovered in France since 1979. An individual dubbed Thorin. This find would reshape our understanding. Years of genetic studies had portrayed late Neanderthals as a single declining lineage. But when experts decoded Thorin's ancient DNA, they discovered a phantom lineage secluded for 50,000 years, unaltered and unaffected by modern humans, hidden until now. This revelation doesn't merely adjust prehistory. It shows that our knowledge of Neanderthal extinction lacked its most surprising chapter. The journey starts with a single tooth and a quarry no one expected. A winding road snakes through the Rhône Valley, slicing between limestone bluffs and the gently flowing river beneath. Perched above the water is Grotte Mandrin, a shallow cavern etched by wind and erosion into the light-colored rock. For millennia, this refuge observed the movements of prehistoric hunters. Its south-facing entrance captured the winter sunlight. In 2010, a group headed by Ludovic Slimak showed up with shovels, trowels, and a determination to chart every sediment layer, every bone shard. The cave's spot was deliberate. This valley acted as a natural pathway, a hub for animals and humans traveling between the Mediterranean and Ice Age Europe's interior. Digging at Grotte Mandrin required endurance. Each year, Slimak's crew stripped away fine strips of wind-deposited sand and silt, exposing a chronicle of occupations extending over 80,000 years. The strata unfolded like book pages, hearths, flint implements, and dispersed bones from horses, reindeer, and bison. Over 60,000 stone artifacts and 70,000 animal fragments emerged methodically. The cave's undisturbed sediment safeguarded alternating signs of Neanderthals and, in certain levels, the earliest modern humans in Western Europe. In 2015, while Slimak's team labored near the cave's opening, they unearthed a group of teeth and bone pieces embedded in a shallow dip next to the bedrock. The setting was evident. This was the post-Neanderthal II layer, the final Mosterian phase prior to modern humans' arrival. The crew paused all excavation, covering the trench and recording every aspect. Rigorous procedures directed the extraction. Each item was packaged, noted, and dispatched securely to the lab. In the cave's dim glow, the importance was obvious. The Rhône Valley's prehistoric junction had delivered a Neanderthal whose tale awaited revelation. Thorin's narrative is most vividly inscribed in his teeth. 31 fossilized teeth, some still fixed to jawbone segments, endured 42 to 52,000 years in the cave's cool shadows. The moniker Thorin, inspired by Tolkien's stories, suggests a touch of personality. This wasn't merely a collection of relics, but someone who once chewed, bit, and grinned in a now-lost era. His dental structure records both everyday hardships and unusual luck. The crowns are worn from years of grinding tough roots and sinew, with edges chipped and scarred by grit in the Ice Age fare. One molar is surplus, a supernumerary tooth, a genetic oddity seldom observed in Neanderthals, probably indicating his lineage's extended seclusion. The teeth's real worth, however, resides within. Each root houses a dental pulp chamber, once laced with blood vessels and nerves. This pulp serves as a natural safe, protecting DNA from bacteria, moisture, and gradual decay that wipes out most ancient traces. Even as bones erode and fragment, the pulp can safeguard genetic remnants for tens of thousands of years. For researchers, these teeth were beyond fossils. They were time capsules, providing an opportunity to retrieve a Neanderthal's genetic blueprint almost whole. On-site work positioned Thorin's existence between 42,000 and 52,000 years ago, a time frame verified by Bayesian modeling that integrated radiocarbon dating, stratigraphy, and the location of his remains in the cave's sediment strata. This period places him among the final Neanderthals to roam the Rhône Valley as modern humans advanced from the south. His remains represent the most intact Neanderthal dental assemblage found in France since the late 1970s, a scarce link between his species' vanished realm and today's forensic methods. The emphasis on his teeth would shortly shift from fieldwork logs to the lab, where the concealed secrets would be gently revealed. In the ancient DNA lab, the protocols are unyielding. Every surface shines under UV lights, sanitized until no rogue cell lingers. Scientists don full protective suits, gloves, and masks before entering via the airlock. Any modern human DNA speck could drown the delicate genetic matter inside Thorin's teeth, so tools are disinfected after each phase. The team picks a molar from the meticulously indexed set and positions it under a microscope. With a precise drill, they penetrate the root, gathering fine dust from the dental pulp chamber buried inside. This is the sole area likely to retain ancient blood cells, and thus the Neanderthal's genetic sequence. The dust is placed in a sterile vial, sealed, and transferred to another clean room for extraction. Every action is documented: who touched the sample, when, and how. The air is purified, and blank controls are processed alongside to spot any contamination trace. Pulling DNA from a sample over 40,000 years old is a battle against deterioration. Surviving genetic pieces are brief, fragmented, and blended with abundant bacterial and fungal DNA. The task is to separate the endogenous, original Neanderthal, Na, from the exogenous intruders that infiltrated over ages. Current sequencing devices can process millions of Na bits simultaneously, but only a minor portion will be Thorin's. The remainder is interference, microbes, cave dirt, and rare modern handler cells. Validation depends on detectable patterns. True ancient DNA bears unique damage at strand ends, a molecular mark from centuries of chemical breakdown. The team measures these patterns, computing the endogenous to exogenous DNA ratio per sample. For Thorin, the authentic Neanderthal DNA percentage is notably high, a fortunate rarity enabling complete genome assembly. By extraction's end, the team possesses a small tube holding Thorin's entire genetic heritage. Every precaution, every sterile measure, ensures the upcoming sequencing unveils not merely a Neanderthal's genome, but an accurate chronicle of a lost era. The following phase required evidence that could withstand intense examination. Age assessments for Thorin's remains faced multiple independent evaluations, each aimed at eliminating mistakes and affirming the timeline indicated by the cave's layers. Radiocarbon dating focused on collagen and nearby animal bones, while optically stimulated luminescence gauged when sand grains last encountered light. Bayesian modeling combined these with the cave's stratigraphy, yielding a range from 52,900 to 48,500 years before present. The range was precise enough to quell skepticism. All approaches led to the same unexpected outcome. Thorin hailed from the Neanderthal era's close, not some distant forgotten period. External labs conducted their analyses, replicating measurements on new samples and verifying each figure. The research group submitted to Cell Genomics, a top journal in the discipline. Reviewers scrutinized the techniques for contamination or statistical tricks. The data endured. On September 11, 2024, the findings went public. The release featured Thorin's genome, his age, and the core paradox, yet the genome sparked more inquiries than resolutions. When population geneticists matched Thorin's DNA against extensive ancient and modern genome databases, the outcomes didn't align. His genetic profile resembled Neanderthals from over 100,000 years prior, not his presumed peers in Europe or Asia. The database marked his genome as anomalous, a discrepancy unexplained by lab flaws or inaccurate dating. The publication didn't merely append another Neanderthal to history. It compelled all field experts to reassess their assumptions about the species' final decades. With the proof now public, the paradox invited scientific debate. The data were solid, the dating reliable, Yet Thorin's Denna narrated a tale seeming from another epoch. The issue shifted from the findings' validity to how such a lineage endured in seclusion so long, and its implications for our closest kin's intertwined past. Geneticists started by aligning Thorin's Denna with the broad array of Neanderthal genomes from Eurasian sites. The findings were astonishing. Thorin's lineage diverged from other Neanderthals about 105,000 years ago. For almost 50,000 years, his forebears stayed genetically detached, their Denna following a distinct trajectory, even as other Neanderthal bands intermingled and roamed the continent. This span exceeds the time from initial cave art to today. Population genetic models via coalescent theory pinpointed the split as a specific instant far in history, predating Europe's last glacial surges. Thorin's genome, safeguarded in his molar's pulp, became a molecular archive. It bore the genetic mark of an ancient group, unimpacted by gene flow waves that molded the broader Neanderthal realm. While late Neanderthals from spots like Vindia Cave in Croatia displayed Denna mosaics from far-off kin, Thorin's code diverged, reflecting the distant past. This phantom lineage, unseen in archaeological evidence, emerged solely through the molecular clock in Thorin's Denna. No implements, bones, or relics suggested it. Only gradual genetic variances, counted in thousands of generations, showed his group lived on the fringes, severed from Neanderthal history's main flows. The clash between his archaic genome and late existence prompted scientists to ponder how many concealed populations existed, their narratives sealed until the ideal find in the perfect spot. Thorin's Denna didn't just extend the Neanderthal family tree, it unveiled a lost world, conserved in genetic sequences over stone or bone. The extent of this seclusion and its sustaining factors framed how fragility could emerge in such an isolated setting. Thorin's genome resembles a chronicle of seclusion. When scientists charted the sequence, they identified lengthy continuous segments where both Denna copies matched identically, evident signs of eras in a small, enclosed community. These homozygosity runs are genetic imprints from repeated close kin mating, a stark contrast to other late Neanderthals' mosaic genomes. In population genetics, this indicates a minuscule effective population size, where breeding numbers fell so low that diversity couldn't rebound. For Thorin's kin, each generation pulled from a diminishing ancestor pool, and every offspring inherited the same ancient sequence repeatedly. Admixture molecular tests revealed another tale: total separation. Experts employ statistical methods to hunt genomes for alien Denna fragments, seeking interpopulation mixing indicators. In Europe's other late Neanderthals, these tests often detect Homo sapiens traces, genetic remnants of fleeting meetings as modern humans expanded. But Thorin's Denna showed none. No segment fit modern human ancestry patterns. His lineage stayed pristine, genetically shielded from the arrivals who would dominate soon. The blend of widespread homozygosity and absolute lack of Homo sapiens Denna depicts a grim scenario for Thorin's group. Isolated from the larger Neanderthal sphere, lacking genetic renewal from external ties, their endurance hinged on a delicate equilibrium. Any novel illness, weather shift, or resource scarcity could tip such a group to collapse. Ultimately, their genetic seclusion wasn't mere historical anomaly. It was a weakness encoded in every cell, rendering them vulnerable as the environment transformed. Neanderthal extinction no longer appears as one broad vanish. Instead, evidence suggests varied destinies. Some groups blending with incoming Homo sapiens, others dwindling alone, and a few like Thorin's lineage fading with secrets preserved. The classic narrative of modern humans incorporating last Neanderthals via interbreeding now accompanies a subtler truth. Today, non-African descent individuals bear about 2% Neanderthal DNA. a heritage from mixing with specific Neanderthal groups in ancient travels. Yet this legacy stems from lineages that, unlike Thorin's, weren't genetically isolated. Thorin's phantom lineage left no modern human mark. His people's saga concluded in their Rene Valley, their code saved only in ancient tooth pulp. This insight recasts extinction as a patchwork. Some populations enduring via contact, others through rigid seclusion. Neanderthal ancestry's persistence in us derives from minglers, while branches like Thorin's vanished entirely. Their input lost save for ancient DNA recoveries. The hunt for additional phantom lineages continues. Scientists scour southern French caves, seeking more specimens to bridge record gaps. Each fresh find can overhaul the narrative, showing Neanderthal survival's true diversity and unpredictability. Our closest relative's extinction wasn't one occurrence, but sequential local closures, each influenced by location, weather, and fortune. As ancient DNA tech progresses, knowable limits expand, sparking fresh queries and probes into antiquity. Today, ancient DNA uncovers concealed limbs in our family tree, phantom lineages obscured for tens of millennia. As sequencing speeds up, each new genome compels rethinking extinction, endurance, and links. The tale isn't solely about Neanderthals. It's about the intricacy we retain and secrets our DNA might still conceal. What more lurks in the soil? Drop your ideas in the comments.